Let's dive in.
I like connecting the dots.
The way our paths crossed with Paddle was that you were a P&L owner.
You would be focusing into a specific area.
A product that was mostly built, but also hadn't had any monetization at all.
I spend time for the data. How do you not interfere engineering team, but still give your inputs that, okay, I think that this is the right way of doing it?
Founder market fit is one decision. Do I go to something I really know well, or do I go to something that I'm thinking in first principles about which I know nothing?
All the creative things that whatever you would want to do, and that is what Pixelbin is.
The legal, the sales tax compliance, but also the payment methods and currencies that allow better conversion rates, the growth piece.
Majority of my customers are coming from that particular niche. I am getting most of the payments from this particular niche. So let me go double down into this, and that is how I have thought that, okay, I'll figure it out.
Let's dive in.
Yes.
So I've loved hearing a bit about your backstory, because you come from a product and engineering background, but the way our paths crossed with Paddle was that you were a P&L owner, a profit and loss owner.
Yes.
Talk to me a bit about Fynd and Pixelbin and what your role was there.
In my journey of more than a decade, I have been primarily into engineering space, and then coming from a very middle class background, this was the path that was told to us. And then this was the path to make money till this time. So I took that path, but having done that, I understood that I like connecting the dots, like in the sense that why are you doing this? And engineering is more like, how do you do it? Why are you doing this? What has to be done? Everything is something that I would want to own. So this was one of the things that made me move towards the product. And product and growth was all because of my mentors from the Fynd, SMG and Jigar has just given me the opportunity to do it, provided I move to Bombay.
Okay.
So they gave me this particular opportunity to do that for Pixelbin. Monetization was one of the things that we were doing at that point of time. We were barely about zero at that point of time. And then in the journey of 2.5 years, we are more than, I cannot disclose numbers, but like more than $1 million of ARRs. We are doing many $1 million of ARR.
Fantastic.
So it was a really good journey. Doing it for the first time and in this environment is like really good.
And so it's almost like being an internal founder, an entrepreneur, right? Coming from the engineering product background and now being given responsibility for a product that was mostly built, but also hadn't had any monetization at all. What new skills did you have to learn as you took on the kind of revenue responsibility of this product?
I think everything. First of all, if you talk about technology, right? The people who are into technology, they are more like nerd, right? In the sense nerd that you would be focusing into a specific area, and you are not talking to, like, say, marketing team or sales team, content team, PR team, your finance and legal teams, right? You are never talking to them, and you are in a very in your zone doing things, building, which is required at that point of time, right? When I went there, this was a very different experience, wherein initially I think 5-6 months, since I was from like tech background and everything, I spent time for the data. I spent time for tech to understand the data properly, have those pipelines and everything, and using that particular time to understand that, okay, I have to talk to these people as well. And how do I talk to customers? How do I talk to the marketing team? What are the things that they need from me? And then how do you balance both? So, because in the end, my heart is again from the engineering background, right? So how do you not interfere engineering team, but still give your inputs that, okay, I think that this is the right way of doing it. Maybe you can think about it. So this was how I navigated the whole journey.
And maybe for people's context, explain what Pixelbin does and perhaps the journey of the product over the course of the time you were with it.
So we started more like as a CDN platform, wherein we were saying that for all the media assets that you have, we are more like a DAM, digital asset management. If you so it's more about taking care of all your digital assets, and then we would be providing you the the URLs that can be directly, like say our customers are primarily all the retail owners, right? They would require all these media assets to be served via CDN, the CDN for performance thing, and then doing your optimization and resizing and so many other things for the images and videos that is required for any of the media, right? So we started over there, but then we got a lot of traction from the customers that we would also want to do this, wherein from there we found multiple tools for specific use cases. And then AI, I think Fynd as a company was like really good company and still is a very, very good company if someone wants to have good exposure in AI. So we knew that, okay, this wave is coming and we have to make certain changes, and Midjourney and everything we were using from the day it was launched. So we were pretty much aware that, okay, stable diffusion and all these models are coming up. This will be the path, right? So that is where we navigated that, okay, we have to, Nano Banana has come just now, but we thought that, okay, this is the part that anyways it is going to go. Knowing that, we said that, okay, we'll take Pixelbin as a editor platform, editor for videos, all the creative things that whatever you would want to do, and that is what Pixelbin is.
And it's a real transformation. So from a digital asset manager, quite a static, system of record, system of storage, all the way through to a place where you act, you build, you create across different media types. So has your pricing and your monetization changed as you've built the product out?
Yeah. So everything. See, from the day one we were operating on credit, that remained same. The only thing is that your metering now takes care of everything. Like when you're generating, you consume X credit. When you're generating video, you consume some other thing, right? Or when you're dealing with the storage, you consume some other credits, right? The whole idea was that from generation, ideation to storage and the delivery, everything Pixelbin will take care of. And with credit, it was very, very much easy that, okay, you will have a single currency which will be used across.
So with all of these changes happening, working out go-to-market, the product itself changing, the pricing and monetization changing, Paddle was a partner for you on that process. So talk to me about why choosing a merchant of record was helpful in terms of giving you focus back on the things you needed to spend time on.
Again, from the learning, as an engineer, I would have never done that. But since I was into the product role, we were going into calls from the customers. We were always checking the emails of the customers, and we were also checking the failure rates. We were also checking the conversion rate from your payment methods and everything, right? Across the globe. Pixelbin was, from day one, we were across the globe, operating across the globe. So we were using Stripe. But one of the major asks from all of our customers was that, okay, we would also want to use alternate payment methods. PayPal was one of the things that everyone was asking. So then I remember I stumbled upon Paddle with NA10 and Remove BG. I think both of these products were using Paddle, right? They are Paddle customers, right? So I used them, and then I saw that, okay, this is like really good. That time, first of all, I did not know what merchant of record was, to be very frank. And then after that, we had a conversation with the team, and then we understood that okay, you guys are taking care of legal, you guys are taking care of the taxation and everything. Plus, you are providing me all the payment methods that we would want. And then one of the problem was that, okay, local currencies, anyways, as a product, I know that local currency improves your conversion. You were taking care of that also. So it was like, okay, I found my perfect wife, perfect girlfriend. So yeah, so that was the case. And then we went to the Paddle,
I'm not sure we've ever been described as the perfect wife before, but I like it. So I love how you speak to the multiple different points of value there. So there's the compliance piece, the legal, the sales tax compliance, but also the payment methods and currencies that allow better conversion rates, the growth piece. But it's really interesting to me. So you grew that business unit from nothing to many millions of revenue, changed the product, did what many founders have found really difficult, which is reinvent a SaaS product into something that now is a system of action. It's an AI product. But you've now left the business and are considering your next steps. Tell me a little bit about that, and then I'd love to dig into the frame of thinking about what you choose as your next adventure.
With the past experience in Pixelbin and some of the experience that I had with the commerce business as well, which is very much similar to Shopify for the Fynd, right? So I have primarily experience into SaaS and the e-commerce, and then previous all the technology and other experiences that I have.
Yeah.
So I have thought that okay, I'll build in this space. But having said that, I have not figured out 100% that where exactly will I go, and that is where I'm like talking to so many people, understanding that what are the things, because when I am there, I am there for like decades.
Yeah.
I'm not going back.
You're all in.
Yeah, I'm all in. So there is no plan B. So yeah, so I'm still thinking that okay, where should I go?
So let's dive into that, because I think it's a really under-discussed topic of how you make that decision of which startup to build. So you've already talked a bit about what we would describe as founder market fit, your experience in e-commerce, and your experience, at the current companies at Fynd and at Pixelbin. So founder market fit is something that I think is really interesting, because if you bring experience in, that can help on the value chain, it can help on partnerships, it can help on go-to-market and distribution. But also there's something unique about coming in with a very fresh perspective.
Yes.
So founder market fit is one decision. Do I go to something I really know well, or do I go to something that I'm thinking in first principles about which I know nothing? Now let's talk about another vector, which would be maybe consumer versus business, B2C versus B2B. There are different strengths and weaknesses of each of those different models. How do you think about that decision?
So I think founder market fit, you have said in a very right way that there is a good, when I do not know anything, right? If I go fresh in, I can bring fresh perspective. I can connect all the dots backwards and maybe do something fresh, right? So that is one way, and the other way would be that okay, you already have experience in certain things and you would want to do that, right? So I believe both are true. Okay, let me quote one of the things that I think one of my friends said, I remember, that like say for all the art or creative work, right? I think when you are fresh, it makes a lot of sense to do that. And say for a lot of things which require more of experience and all that, if you see even in the history, right, the people who are older have done that. So I believe in a similar fashion that for me, I am not like say 23-year-old or 18-year-old, right? For me, I think the path would be more towards that, okay, I know these things. But having said that, the first principle thinking would be there. What I mean by this is that I have like very less knowledge about the finance, right? So I would not want to do it in fintech or say the gaming industry. I have never worked there, not knowing the nuances of those things. I can definitely do it with first principles, but there will always be some mistakes, right? I'll be making those mistakes and then learn it. So I think for me, it will be a better idea. If I was 22 years old, I would have taken different path, but I think this is a better path for me right now.
So you're resolved on the founder market fit thing. Then how about consumer versus business?
I think for this, eventually I would want to go into B2B, wherein B2B is where it's more like, again, same analogy, it's more like a marriage, right? B2B is a marriage that, okay, you would be with the customers for a very long time, and I am in the game for a very long time. Having said that, understanding that market and then having those connections, then knowing what is the product that is to be built, that has to be established. One of the way I have figured out right now that, and then after speaking to a lot of people, is that a lot of people for that particular thing is that maybe you can do this, that maybe you have a lot of B2C product in the related domain, which people are using, and then they are ready to hop on a call with you and then tell you a very what exactly is the pain point for them, where you could provide value. So I think easy to jump in is a B2C, but for a long term B2B.
And you certainly get faster validation in B2C, right?
Yes, you get faster validation.
Okay, so we've talked about founder market fit, we've talked about consumer versus business. Let's take another one. So you've said probably business, but then you've got a choice of horizontal versus vertical type solution. Is it something that serves a huge swathe of the market, or is it focused on a very specific type of business? How do you think about that decision?
My take will again be very much similar, that okay, I would eventually want to crack the vertical SaaS, because vertical SaaS is wherein you would not be disrupted, because you know your customers very well, which is hard to, like say, have someone who is coming new into the competitor replace you, right? So that is the advantage you have with the vertical SaaS. But having said that, to start with, again, it's a blank slate. I do not know which one to do. Maybe we'll go say something which is horizontal, have all the verticals open, and then when you speak to the customers, then you understand that okay, majority of the more like a product thinking, right? Majority of my customers are coming from that particular niche. I am getting most of the payments from this particular niche, so let me go double down into this, and that is how I have thought that okay, I'll figure it out.
I think that's really astute, because many of the companies we see that have breakout success, they start off horizontal for discovery, and then once they've learned the insight on the customer that means they can be repeatable, they then verticalize. And they might even be a horizontal solution that just choose a vertical go-to-market. They could apply to many industries, but they choose one for focus. And I guess the other topic here is, do you want to go for a massive market or a niche market, which is a bit related to horizontal and vertical. So I love the way you're thinking about all of those three different axes. I guess one final one that I think is also important is really kind of where you want to spend your time, where your energy comes from, and you mentioned you want to be in it for the long run. Where that there's going to be sustainable energy for you because you just love the problem. Is that something that's playing a part in your decision making?
So problem-wise, I think it's more like that I would want to be surrounded with people or solving problems for the people who are somehow in the sense related in values or something. Like say it again comes back to the same thing, right? Say they will be somewhere doing something related to technology or something related to the products, digital products or something. That is where I'll know them very well, and anything related to digital or technology with good values is something that I'm pretty much okay to do for a very long time. So I'm pretty much open over there.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing what you choose, and I'm going to be making sure I'm following you to find out what you choose and when you choose it. But I really appreciate your time in this conversation, talking us through Pixel Bin and also the decision process on a new business. Thank you.
Thank you so much.